The nice thing about habits and routines, even when everything gets squirrely, you still have the habits and the system to fall back on. In my kitchen, at the end of every day, I wash the dishes, I wipe the surfaces, I degrime the high chairs, and I clean the floors. It's my system, and it's made up of dozens of tiny habits. I built it, slowly, over many months, one habit at a time, and it's one of the best practices in our home. You did, yes. Typically, I start by clearing dishes and wiping everything onto the floor for the vacuum to take care of. Then I'll start on dishes. Sometimes I'm really focused and get it done in 20 to 30 minutes. Other times, like tonight, I work on it off and on for a few hours.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Did you put that on our chicken?
No, because that's kind of spicy, so I didn't think you would like it.
Oh, thank you, Mom.
Thank you.
Theo, come over here. I would do my bottle too.
Can you get it through the bars? Yep.
You got you. Mine is very far away. Theo. How beautiful.
I learned from Atomic Habits the importance of changing one's systems rather than doing big overhauls. So I began by simply getting in the habit of loading and starting the dishwasher every night. What I learned is that I love having clean dishes ready to go. It brought so much ease to our mornings. And once that habit was firmly in place, it became easy to quickly wipe down the sink. Then, as long as I had my rag handy, I could do the same to the countertops, the table and chairs, and our stove. The steps to a clean kitchen just slowly built until I felt like I'd hit all the essentials. For me, that's clean dishes, empty sink, at least mostly, clean surfaces, a quick tidy, the kitchen seems to accumulate everything from all over the house, and a clean floor. Sometimes all I manage to do is run the Roomba, but if I can, I pull out our mop as well. And if I'm really feeling ambitious, I dry the few dishes that need to be hand washed and put them away. So I wasn't expecting to have a quick little conversation with the camera in this video, but in full disclosure, this has been a much harder night than normal for us. Steve came home late from work, which happens this time of year, and so I got started a little bit later. I was losing the light, Theo was tired, and he kept coming in just wanting to be nursed and snuggled. I kept trying to push through, but I finally had to give up and put him down. My sweet husband and daughter, while I was putting Theo to sleep, cleaned up a good portion of the kitchen. Unfortunately not on camera, but it was a nice surprise and I cried. There are a couple portions of the cleanup that I would have normally shown you, wiping down the counters, wiping down the stove. Obviously, we had a complete disaster with the chicken tonight. The pan that it was in just cracked in half and started leaking all of the juices into the bottom of the stove, and then it started smoking. Which of course added to the overall complications for today. So I never clean the inside of the stove as part of my kitchen closing routine, but that did have to happen tonight, and I am incredibly grateful to Steve that he did that while I was putting Theo to sleep. So I'm going to take you on to the last couple of steps, but just as a full disclosure for what tonight has been like, I think the kitchen closing routine can be one of the hardest ones because it's always has to be at the end of the day. It's when we're tired. It's when we're most likely, I think, to justify just like, oh, I'll take care of it in the morning. And then, of course, your future self is never particularly happy with you for having made that decision. So I'd be curious to know, what do people do to make sure they do follow through on those evening routines that really help to set you up for the morning? So here are a few tips for developing a new habit. These come from an article by James Clear, which I will link to for those of you who want to dive a little deeper. Start with one small change, and I'd recommend focusing on something that will give you an obvious reward, such as clean dishes in the morning. Know that you'll develop willpower over time, so make one small change and then add to it slowly. For instance, maybe you begin by simply clearing dishes from the table and letting them soak overnight. It's a step in the right direction. Break the big habits down. For instance, clearing the table is one step. Loading the dishwasher is another step. Starting the dishwasher, yet another step. Each leads well into the other, so if you begin with a small habit of clearing the table, you'll likely trigger a ripple effect over time. Be consistent. And when you're not, get back to it quickly. I miss some nights with my kitchen closing, but I don't miss 2 in a row. To keep these changes in the long run, you have to be patient and willing to grow at a pace that is sustainable. That'll be the toughest one. Thank you for joining us this evening, and until next time.